Hey everybody, welcome to an episode of Milan Magic Quick Hit. I'm Brian Boitano with Christine Brennan, and we just witnessed the women's short program. Christine, there's so much to talk about.
Brian, there is, and I'm still in the arena, and I know you've gone back, and wow. I mean, let's start with Alysa Liu. I think that's where we want to start
Yeah.
because she's in third place, but those top three are so close. I think Alysa Liu is in absolutely perfect position for Alysa Liu to medal and potentially, depending on the Japanese who are terrific, if they skate great, okay. But if they don't, if there's slips or whatever, I think Alysa Liu is in a prime position. She's got 76.59 points. And she's less than 2 points out of, no, a little bit more than 2 points out of the lead right now. I think she's in prime position. I'll just say it, to win the gold medal.
Yeah, I
What do
think
you? What do you?
I think you're right. She skated great tonight, but she did leave a little room because I know it wasn't her very best, which is good because it leaves her room to go up in the long program. But what I noticed about her, Christine, like the look in her eye, the composure, it was like we're used to the Alyssa that's happy to be there and doesn't care. But she was a little bit more serious when she took the ice. But I didn't feel like it was this seriousness that would get in the way of her performance. It was the seriousness of a mature skater who was excited to be there and wanted to skate well for themselves and experience, like, it looked like she was absorbing the whole aspect of this is the Olympics and I really want to feel that. And she let that show in her skating. She moved silkier than she ever did before. It was such a smooth program, and she jumped like she always does and spun really well. So she was like spot on, but she had this extra something.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. It was just terrific to watch her. You just felt from press row, just a confidence about her that, as you're watching a skater, you'll kind of wonder, okay, do they have this? Do they not? They look nervous. No, she looked at home. She looked like she belonged on that ice, that it was the best place for her to be. It was just hers to take, and she did it. And again, we said that, like, just to give the scores, Ami Nakai, the little 17-year-old Japanese skater who was terrific, 78.71 points is what she has. And then, of course, the three-time world champ and Olympic bronze medalist from last time, Kaori Sakamoto, is 77.23, and then Alyssa, 76.59. That's nothing, right? That's just
Right. Yeah.
that's not even a jump. I mean, so basically they're not tied, but they're kind of almost tied in the sense of it's all about the long program, correct?
Absolutely. It's all going to come down to the long program. Cowrie skated like a stud tonight. She just went out. She was like a freight train in full speed into the station. She just was controlled. She showed that she was a champion. She dominated that ice. She was so strong. And she just really just took control. And I feel like she's going to do that in the long. So we're going to have a great, I mean, I think it's going to be a great showdown. And the other thing too is like Alyssa skated and then Isabeau came out. And Isabeau, I got to say, even though she ended up not as high as everybody thought she should, she skated great. This was a real test for Isabeau, skating after Alyssa, having that pressure. She's always said that she has felt pressure before and she held back from it. This night was different. She had speed going into that combination, that first combination. I had a lot of confidence when I was watching her skate, and I haven't always had that with her. But she
Yeah.
was solid and like she was in control and she was completely focused, which I hadn't seen her that focused before.
Completely agree. And by the way, by the end of this podcast, I'm going to get Kaori correct.
Well, I don't even know
Kaori
if I say it
Sakamoto.
correct. You might be saying it correct, but I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going with you since you're the
Okay.
skater and I'm not. But we know how great she is, and she's spectacular, absolutely spectacular. You kind of feel like she'll be the gold medalist, but again, we have no idea. Based on what we've seen so far at this Olympics, including the men's competition, we have no idea. But going back to Isabeau, 18 years old, obviously her first time on the ice here competing. She was not in the team competition. Of course, Amber Glenn and Alysa Liu were. She's in eighth place, but when you hear eighth, don't think she made a mistake. She didn't. She skated very, very well. 70.84 points. Um, Probably out of the medals just because of the nature of the leaders. They're just so strong. You'd have to have several people fall apart. But a great start for Isabeau. Looks terrific on the ice, as we've said over and over again. She just is made for this. Again, just a fine start, eighth place.
Yeah,
You
and think
know,
of it as that she's really skating for the next Olympics. She's skating for a solid placement, and she's in that category. Eighth is a very good place for her. And if she could get up to fifth, that would be spectacular. She's skating for what might be a good placement to put her in good shooting range for the next Olympics.
well, exactly. And you know that very well, right? From your
Yeah,
Sarajevo 84
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
That was your launching pad to 88. That's what you're
yeah.
talking about, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and everybody has a first Olympics that they. Ilya is a that we've talked about that, but anyway, most people have their first Olympics and they look for a placement in a certain range to put them in shooting distance to be taken seriously for the next Olympics gold medalist.
Right. And again, she's 18. We put them together, right? The three, but Isabeau is actually 8 years younger
Yeah,
than Amber Glenn.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's what you're talking about there for
yeah.
sure. And so Isabeau, obviously she's going to obviously do the long program, and then Isabeau will see in the French Alps in 4 years,
Yes.
with a lot of stops in between. Now we have to talk about Amber Glenn. She is mired in 13th place, Brian. 13th place with 67.39 points. And oh boy, she started out fantastically, and then it all just went sideways. Why don't you kind of go
uh,
through what happened
I
with
got
her?
I got to tell you, it's like I want to say the word that I'm angry with Amber Glenn, but I'm frustrated because she can do it. I'm here at the Winter House. I saw Christy Yamaguchi, and I hadn't seen her at the venue, and we just looked at each other and we're like, why did she do that? This is it's a head scratcher for me because she was brilliant triple axel, great combination. She was doing it like it was unfolding exactly how we had wanted it. It was a dream performance. And then I could just tell, and we all could tell. I talked to Christy about it. It's like we could tell going into the triple loop that she was losing focus. The way that she was setting up, we're like, oh my God, this is a little bit, going out of the ordinary. And this is her most consistent jump that she does on a regular basis. And
Mhm.
we've known that she's struggled with staying focused through a program before. And I just feel bad because I feel like at this point she's done that and made that mistake on jumps later on in the program when she's done all the hard things and there's only easy things to do. And I know that she is feeling the exact same way as what I'm saying right now. And so I hate to add on to that, but had wished that she had, learned or found out how to focus at this point going into the Olympics. And I really truly thought that she had, but it's frustrating for us because we want her to do so well. The good part is that you said she's not far out point wise, and she is historically shown if she doesn't skate, she doesn't necessarily skate two clean. In fact, she's never skated two clean programs in one competition. So I think she's going to come out and skate a great long. And I'm just going to put that out there. And I want her to do it and stay focused and stay concentrated through the whole 4 minutes and do everything because she can. That's why we're frustrated.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And of course, she's the most frustrated person about the Amber Glenn situation is, of course, Amber Glenn. I mean, she was in
Yes.
tears on the ice. She was
Mm.
doubled over and in tears and kiss and cry, getting her scores. Just devastated. She is 13th, which means she is not even in the next to last group. She is in she'll be in the what, third to last group. And that's I mean, that's where she is. So she'll deal with it for sure. When you think about, we've actually talked more about math than either you or I ever would have thought we would be in this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Uh, the math problem, the basic math. But so again, you're right. I mean, that triple axel, it actually got a higher score than the triple axel for the 17-year-old Japanese
And
Nakai.
as well, it should
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
it
it
was
was
right.
great.
So, I mean, this is it. Like, she can break through, she can pass, Nakai, she can go into first place. That's what you're thinking as we're all there in that moment as she lands the triple axel, which is how she starts. Then, as you said, the combination, she's looking good. This is going great. She's moving into that triple loop. And what she did was, of course, she popped it into a double, right?
Yeah,
Is what it was.
yeah,
But the rules state that you have to do a triple jump
yes,
as your single jump without being in combination in the short program. So the moment that she did the double by popping it, obviously that's what of course we all saw, into a double, the moment she did that, Brian, it went to 0 points.
0 points.
0.
Yes.
Oh, and she of course she knew that, and that's why,
Yes.
just the bottom falls out of the program at that point,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that, I mean, her energy with her, the wind went out of her sails after that. She usually, after the triple loop, she sells that footwork sequence at the end. She just like sells it, and it gets everybody on their feet. And she's like, but she knew that. I mean, she literally is doing math in her head, and she's like, I just got 0 points for
Yeah.
that. And it just took the wind out of her sails.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Um, I wanna mention the Blade Angels thing.
Yeah.
I've been we've you and I both have been talking on shows on our podcast, but on shows about the pressure on these young skaters, certainly after Ilya Malinin last Friday night,
Yeah.
and we understand. U.S. Figure Skating came up with that Blade Angels. It's fun. My goodness, Taylor Swift had that great, social media post about them. I mean, that is super cool. That is great. You and I
Yeah.
both. I'm sure that is wonderful, and obviously something that they'll tell their grandchildren about. But what it does, and they know it, it just puts a spotlight on these 3 skaters, right, the Taylor Swift thing, again, nothing against Taylor Swift. I mean, yay, that was fantastic. But that wasn't happening to Peggy Fleming because there was no social
Right.
media. It
Yeah.
wasn't happening to
Right.
Dorothy. It wasn't happening to you. You
Yeah.
had coverage.
Yeah.
But what it does, I mean, it it's just so clear to me how when you do that, then the pressure is there, and then if things don't go well, ooh, it is really, really tough. You feel for those skaters. I do as a journalist. What are your thoughts about that kind of promotion? Again, understanding that that
Yeah.
window is just a few weeks, and it's gone. You want to do that at the Olympics because for these athletes, they don't have another opportunity to promote themselves, make money, keep their sponsors happy, all those things. We get it, but what are your thoughts about something like that and how it can impact the pressure then on these skaters?
Yeah, I mean, so TV and media is trying to bring in all this different element of superstars, actors, and musicians and things that it used to be like they would just stay home and watch this. They weren't really involved in being in the Olympics, and they brought them in to support them and to bring attention, maybe younger attention to the Olympics, maybe to get a younger audience involved in watching it. And I do understand that, but it is pressure. It is a lot other pressure. And especially if these kids are like checking out social network and checking out, all the comments and stuff like that. I mean, for me, I think it's a management issue. I would insist that, they put away their phones for the Olympics and not read anything or do anything. I would want them to concentrate on just the job at hand. I know that's one thing to say. It's a habit for them, so they kind of have to do it, and it's probably a way that they relax, and so it's actually part of their training and part of their relaxation before they go to sleep and get good rest. So how do you restrict that without taking it away and making sure that they don't read people's comments about them? Because what they have to do is not get involved with what other people are saying. They just have to keep focused on what they have to do, and it takes you away from it.
Yeah, yeah, and again, we get it, and I know anyone listening to us for sure gets what we're saying. It's different now. This is the way of the world, but that Blade Angel thing, I was kinda going, "Woo," the idea of there was conversation, can the Americans sweep? Well, the question is now, can the Japanese sweep? Because they're
Yeah.
1, 2, and
Yeah.
4. The Americans are third, eighth, and 13th. And it's just, we're not being critical. We understand, but it's tough. And that's why I wanted to bring that up with you. Brian,
Yeah.
before we go, there is one Russian here, although they don't
Yep.
call her a Russian, independent, neutral athlete. But Adelia Petrosian skated
Yep.
second. People are
Yep.
still coming in, finding their seats in this arena. She is in fifth place, 72.89 points. So, striking range. What did you think about how she skated?
Yep.
And what the judge, how the judges seem to welcome her with a big hug with
Yeah.
those marks.
I'm confused by it. She's a very talented girl. And she has a bright future. But she does skate like a girl. She doesn't have the quality of edge. She doesn't have the skating skills that the top skaters have. Yet she will have that in the coming years. I really felt I was very confused because there were a lot of people who placed under her that that I thought should have been over her. So yeah, I was very surprised in the marks. I felt that she skated her best. She skated well, and she has a great foundation for the future. But like I said, she still skates with immaturity. No, not great, not the best skating skills. Her positions into and out of the jumps are not refined. So for me, I feel like she was placed higher than she should have been.
Yeah. I have a brain trust of people that I hear from, in text messages, and same thing. Everyone agreed. And
Yeah.
it's not because they're Americans or whatever, and it's the Russian. No, no, no. They care about skating. Um, and they know skating very well, as you do. And it was like, what? When she got 72.89 as the second, she was in the lead for, obviously, because she skated so early, for 2.5 hours before the first Japanese, Nakai, the 17-year-old. And by the way, Petrosian's 18, so we're talking about youngsters here. Then finally Nakai, went ahead of her. But yeah, it's and of course we did get a chance to talk to Petrosian in the mix zone, and she actually spoke for a long time in Russian, and then we
Huh.
were able to get translations. And of course, the questions were, what triple axel? We expect that in the long program. And she was, I'm not really training that. Well, we'll see. And then, of course, quads. And so here's the interesting part is we're going to kind of close up here on our quick hit, Brian, that the idea of she is what, not even 6 points behind the lead.
Hmm.
So the Russians have won the last 3 gold medals in
Right.
women's figure skating, and they've won 5 out of the 9 women's medals in the last 3 Olympics. The Russians have.
Mhm.
So here's the only Russian here. What do you see for her? How do you see this playing out? But again, as I lead you into this question, you're looking at 3-time world champ Sakamoto, reigning world champ Alysa Liu, and of course some of these incredible. We haven't even talked about Mona Chiva, but of
Yeah.
course. So, How do you see Petrosian kind of working her way through that with this murderer's row of people in front of her?
Right. Well, she is a girl about the quad. That is what is going to get her up in the final standings. It's only about the quad. It's none of the other stuff. If she racks up the points on the quads and she does beat some of those women ahead of her, my question is that, figure skating has always talked about the component scores being, as important as the technical scores. She's a perfect example of why the component scores should be as important as the technical scores because she's a technical skater. And even her GOE, in my opinion, her grade of execution of her technical stuff isn't as high as a Cowrie or an Alysa Liu or an Amber Glenn, Amber Glenn's triple axel. So I don't really understand why the judges are marking her that way. But if she does crack into that top 3, it will be because she's rewarded for doing a quad.
Yeah. And then it's to your point, the old argument is it sport, is it art? It's both figure skating, and it should count that way. And if someone can jump, out of the building, does that mean that they get those component scores? Why? Why are they that high? So I have a feeling, well, all of this and more, it's all going to come to a head, of course, as we're now chatting at 1 a.m. on Wednesday after the Tuesday night short program with, of course, the Thursday long program. Should we, as we close, should we do a little fun prediction and just go
Sure.
gold, silver,
Yeah.
bronze? And
Yeah.
what do we think? Do you want to
Oh,
go first or am I going first?
you go first. You go first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make this up as I go here.
I know that's
All
good.
right. Yeah, you know what? I would love to say Alyssa Liu for the gold. I don't see both Sakamoto and Nakai. Actually, the 17-year-old Nakai, I could see sleep. They talk about it in golf all the time, sleeping on the lead, right? And it's just, oh, it's hard. So I could see a scenario where the current leader, the 17-year-old, might falter a little bit. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Although it's absolutely delightful skater. If she were in 4th or 5th place, then I say she could win, right? Because then she's
Yeah.
kind of like Sarah Hughes, right? Coming out from 4th place. But now that she's in 1st, that's tough. So I'm going to go with Sakamoto wins the gold, Alyssa Liu wins the silver, and Petrosian wins the bronze.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. You just stumped me. Wow. Okay.
What
I
what
was
what,
not
what part
expecting
of
you to
that
say that.
stumps you?
Well, I'm in agreement because I think, okay, so Ami Nakai has to skate last, and she's a young girl. She's going to have a lot of really good performances, and she's going to be waiting backstage for 45 minutes and hearing the scores. And, she is so young that she might just go out and go like, oh, well, who cares? That's really cool. I'm going to go skate great. But it's a pressure place to skate. It's hard to skate well at the end of the night after all these performances, after you've been off the ice for 45 minutes. So I'm going to say she'll be a little green to win, although it could happen. I'm going to say that, Cowrie is going to come out and be like thinking of losing the world title to Alyssa last year. And she is going to be so focused. She's going to want her last performance of her career, which it could be, to be like her best performance. And she's the one who can set her mind to doing that. Like when she sets her mind to something, she delivers. So I'm going to say, Cowrie, Alyssa, and third is I'm gonna say Ami. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Ami because I think she'll skate well enough. She might make some fumbles but I think that especially if she hits a triple axel, that's going to keep her in third place.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong and you're right because I think the Japanese skaters are so terrific and so deserving of the accolades, not only in the team competition we saw it, but
Yeah.
also in this incredible powerhouse women's competition. Hope you're right. But
Yeah.
and again, nothing. Hey, I mean, the Russians have incredible history in the sport, but I think we're agreeing here about Petrosian, like the scoring and whatever. But I guess I'm reading the tea leaves a little and saying, okay,
Yeah.
if they're kind of holding her up, will
Yeah.
they hold her up again? Especially if there are some falls, and of course we haven't even talked about Chiba, who could sneak in there as
Yeah.
well. But
And that's a spoiler alert, could be Amber, Mona, Chiba. Like there's a lot of things that can happen in a building that is, has energy or doesn't have energy, whatever. It's like it's competition, babes. And it's like, anything can happen.
Well, and if we've learned anything over these, 12 days here so far, whatever it's been, is that anything can happen and anything will happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
Going back, of course, to Ilya
Yeah.
and all the other, the dance and all of the things we've seen. So,
Yeah.
well, there's our predictions. I would caution anyone who listens to us, do not take any of this to Las Vegas. Okay. We don't, right. Or even to your next door neighbor to have a
Yeah.
friendly wager. We are not encouraging that. Obviously, I don't bet. We have no idea. We're just a fun conversation there. But we'll see, and I'm sure we'll hear from a lot of people if we're really wrong. So, on that note, Brian, should we? I'm still in the arena with
Yeah.
Jeff, the greatest ever. People, we're going to reveal
It's
Jeff here to
awesome.
you
Yeah.
soon. But in the meantime, he's just chuckling and ready to take this and get it on the air for us. So, Brian,
Yeah.
I'll let you sign us out. Have a good
All
night.
right. I'm still here at the Winter House and I'm celebrating with all the Team USA skaters here and hockey players and speed skaters. So I'm going to go back and talk more about skating. So signing off for another episode of Milan Magic Quick Hit. See you next time.